Welcome all of you guys. Guys, am I audible to all of you? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir, audible.
Yeah, before proceeding towards the session, few things. So like I'll be placing all of you into mute because if there is any background noise, it will be a disturbance. In case if you have any query, definitely you can unmute yourself and ask your query one by one, not all at a time, in case happens. Second thing, in between during this class, if you find anywhere that my voice is not audible to you, might be because of the network issue. If it occurs, do let me know so that I can stop there and recheck on my network so that there's a continuity and you're able to understand. Okay. And I want all of your participation because it's very important. I hope this is all clear to you all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So welcome you all to SQL awareness session, which is being conducted by COPD. And my name is Ravi, and I'll be today taking you through the SQL requirements or understanding as in BA, where and all is needed and what and all you should be aware of. Okay. So, yep. My first question to all of you: what is SQL? Can any one of you or any of you person can tell me something?
SQL is a
structured
query language.
Right. So that's the acronym.
Yeah, this is used for
Structure.
any changes in a database or extraction of any data or any manipulation of any data. So we use this language to do it.
Okay. So fine.
We can write queries in order to do testing also.
Right. So SQL, like you all said, structured query language is right, and SQL become a standard of the ANSI, or also known as American National Standard Institute, in back 1986, and is one of the international organization for standardization, that is in ISO. We all are familiar with ISO, what it is, in the year 1987. Most of us consider SQL as a what? Database or language. Do we have the understanding between these two? SQL is a language, not a database, but most of us term it like a SQL many times. Even you might have heard of that thing. So what do we understand out of it? SQL is something like in a box or something which we can work upon. It's a question.
Something we can work upon.
Right. So why is SQL used and is it relatable to the business analyst? Can any of you tell me for the second line? Is it relatable or important for a business analyst?
Yes, because
So to retrieving data.
Even
To retrieving the data.
when you say
As a
retrieving the data, on what aspect, on what scale rather?
Actually, it is used when we are going to deliver the product to the client. So we have to check like, is the data getting stored properly or not? So that time we will be using SQL to check that.
Okay.
Now, when SQL is not a database and it's just a language, how can we extract?
See how I believe you are aware with C, C++ and all languages. Have you heard of it?
No, sir. No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Not heard? C,
No,
C++
sir.
language?
We heard, but we
Yes,
don't know.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. C, C++ is a language on which you create the commands. Your mobile application, what you're using now is mostly out of C, C++ with the basic and then Java and other aspects. SQL is also a kind of a language wherein which you create that framework or the feature as in to look into the box, which is defined in the system. SQL, whatever you create, they have a separate SQL server. Okay, you can call, maybe you can call a server as a database also because it can work in multifunctional way. But SQL itself is not a database. SQL itself is a language. You use the coding language and you create the features. Okay. Towards BA, SQL is needed only to view. BA has no leverage, no requirement at all in the companies or IT companies rather to do anything apart of view, and that too conditionally if the client asks to do. Otherwise, BA will never have access. There are multiple reasons for the same. We will get to know what that thing in the coming slides. So, okay. So SQL is used to communicate with the database, and according to ANSI, it is the standard language for relational database management system. SQL statements are used to perform tasks such as update on a database or retrieve data from our database. That is for SQL basically. BA or business mostly won't have to work on it. However, in some scenarios where BA is working for any banking or finance domain, then a BA might work on it. BA won't use any sort of coding method, but SQL is used by BA to only view and or to extract the tabular structure in order to check if the work or application is tracking correct input as per the requirement of the client. Like I said, it's a programming language that is designed to facilitate retrieving specific information from database. Are you all able to understand whether it is relatable or not relatable for a BA? And if it is relatable, up to what extent towards a business analyst?
Yes, sir. I have a question. This is
Yeah,
Swarna here. You were talking about the banking and finance domain regarding the usability of SQL. What about in healthcare domain? How far do we use SQL in the healthcare domain?
See, we have to understand one thing. SQL is not something that anybody can start working on. Okay, the database team is a separate wing who will maintain this entire thing. BA, on other hand, you are working like a bridge between the client to your IT company. So many times your client will interact with you, figuring out if you can give me the information on how the structure is looking towards my requirement. So you have to quickly run through the database. That is SQL or whichever application your company is using. At that point of time, for you to drop an email to get information to the DB team or somebody over there, what we do, if you have the access, if the company grants you access, okay, you can check for this client, you can quickly run through the structure and give them the information. Okay, otherwise there is no such thing. And let that be healthcare domain or a banking or finance or defense or whatever domain may be. BA will max to max will have no connectivity or even the permission. If client says, and if the company requirement is there, okay, you are authorized for doing that thing, that is when you will have the access. That too, not a full scale. You will have only access for view. You cannot do anything apart of view. Am I clear to you guys?
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
Apart from SQL in a business, what will be the other alternative applications used?
Now, can we have this question by end of this class entire thing so that it will be easy for me to also relate it and
Sure,
we
sir.
cannot deviate out of the subject?
Sure, sir.
So I hope you're clear till why is SQL used and is it relatable to business analyst or not? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Sir,
Yep.
whether we will get this SQL intro in PPT?
No, this PPT will be recording and you will have this recording link with you. You can check in your student portal that is provided by COPD. In there you have a library section. There it will be uploaded.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So moving to the next. SQL facts I want to share with you. SQL is practiced on SSMS, that is SQL Server Machine Learning System, or sometime dummy application also. This application gives you new aspirants, a new learner edge to get familiar with the SQL app. Okay, so here in this SQL, one can extract multiple reports for review and validation purpose, which may include IT, finance domain, banking, retail domain, and many more. Okay, one thing you have to understand, SQL mostly will come between these finance, banking domain only aspect. It's not like if you're working at any other segment, there is no budget as such. Yes, budget is there, and so as a different database team who will be responsible for it. Unless you are interacted with the client, and if your client asks you, you will not be having any link or access to the database. Next, what is database? Can you please tell me, any one of you?
Database is a collection of table.
Yeah, it is a representation of table actually where the
Where all data is being
records are
stored.
getting, data and everything has been
Database
stored.
collection of information about the customer or project.
It is an information about the data.
Right.
Data.
Will this be okay? Like an organized collection of data generally stored and accessed from a computer or system, mostly will be into the hard disk, right? Whichever work you do and you save it in a system, either you can save in a desktop or you can move into the hard disk. What is the purpose of database?
To store the data.
Right, so it will be like it's to organize the data and make it available in convenient forms for view and or to analyze purpose. So can any of you tell me that any application name which is similar to database and which you use? Might be quite often, might not be also. But I'm sure most of you would have been aware on that kind of platform application.
Amazon.
Naukri.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Google Drive.
We can
Capture data also. Microsoft Excel.
Yes. Why I'm taking Naukri app website and not
Power
because
BI
this
as well.
Power BI on a different Power BI. If I don't have Excel, I mean the data on which you're trying to work upon, then it's of no use, right? Does it make, if I don't have a reference, if I don't have Excel, if I don't have any text format, nothing is there with me. It is just an application, but of no use. So when I'm talking about the database, it's something where you are storing. The reason behind giving me a Naukri app website like this are every CV or resume, whatever you upload there, it gets downloaded to their database, and it's also parallel reflecting onto the interface when you run through it. There will be multiple, I mean millions of, I'm not sure millions or lakhs, however it may be, but you have huge number of CVs reflecting over there along against the requirement of the companies, and you see that in a might be a sequential manner or sometime in a tabular way also. Same thing like Monster or your every application which can store data which you can view. Okay. So my next question is, what types of DBs are available? Can you tell me?
Rdbms and
MySQL.
Rdbms.
Rdbms and Dbms.
SQL, Oracle.
Right. Dbms stands for Database Management System and Rdbms stands for Relational Database Management System. There are only these two kind of DBs available so far in this advanced stage. Okay. So SQL fundamentals, I will say, like fundamental function of a database or parts of database are CRUD. We call it like root or root. So what is that? Create, write, update, and delete. Okay. So a BA will have access only on this area. Read, that too means view. You cannot create. You will have no access for this. You will have no access to update. You will have no access to even delete. You can only view.
BA, yes, sir. Sir, in BA, who will create this SQL, sir?
BA will never create. BA will not
no,
create.
Sir. No, sir. I'm asking, is tester or a developer or who will create this SQL in the team?
Database team itself.
Database team.
Database team is there for every company who will maintain the data in a structured way so that they can extract, retrieve whenever they want, which you are being asked for. And it is very sensitive thing. That's the reason this thing is not shared even to the CTO and CFOs to the company. Because one mistake, one deletion, something goes wrong, it is tough to recall back and you have to recreate again thing, which is going to take time. Okay. Are you able to understand the importance of SQL and its importance? So next, I will show the features of Dbms and Rdbms. What is Dbms? Dbms applications store data as file. How many of you have seen this kind of in real time when you work in any of the tools or applications at home or at office? In Dbms, data is generally stored in either a hierarchical form or a navigational form. Dbms uses files system to store data, so there will be no, one minute guys. So DBMS uses file system to store data, so there will be no relationship between the tables. DBMS is meant to be for small organization and deal with small data. It supports single user at a time. Example of DBMS is files like XML, etc. How many of you have ever heard the name of OpenOffice?
Libre.
Me, sir.
Like
I am aware about. I'm working on it.
OpenOffice, compared to your OpenOffice versus MS Excel, how convenient it is?
MS Excel is more convenient to use it. If talk about the OpenOffice, so many restrictions with that.
Yes.
Yeah, we are not allowed to use, if you want to present in a proper way like Excel, we cannot present through OpenOffice. We just need, store a data OpenOffice into OpenOffice, just like that.
That's it. But whereas compared to MS Excel, compared to OpenOffice versus MS Excel is more convenient, and you know how fast you can do in MS Excel. But the same thing, if I go with the OpenOffice, you have to figure out where is the features over there. Now, right. And in terms of Rdbms, it's the application store data in tabular form. Okay. In Rdbms, the tables have an identifier called primary key, and the data values are stored in the form of tables. Data values stored in the form of tables, so a relationship between these data values will be stored in the form of tables as well. Rdbms is designed to handle large amount of data. It supports multiple users. Few examples of Rdbms could be like MySQL, Postgre, SQL Server, Oracle, etc. Now, for DBMS, can I take that example of OpenOffice? I'm not sure how many of you are familiar or ever had the taste of it, apart of few people. But if you compare between OpenOffice versus MS Package or MS Excel, you will find most of them in OpenOffice like a DBMS. How many of you have ever seen it?
No, sir.
Or on other hand, DBMS, I can give you an application called as Notepad. Have you used Notepad in your laptop? Or
Yes,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So just in Notepad, can you create tables and all?
No, sir.
No.
No.
You go and
Notepad
sequence
basically
1, 2, 3. Yes, you can write up to n number of things, whatever, but you cannot bring that into a tabular form. It does not support itself. Additionally, you store one notepad in one, let's say, group in your office. If one person is accessing, already looking into it, second person, when he does, a pop-up will appear in the window stating somebody else is trying to access, please close the screen. Have you ever seen that? Ever witnessed something happening like that? This is a common thing happening across most of the companies. If you are working in even a cloud-based company also, if you try to run through a notepad, you will get a alert like that. Okay.
Sir, I have realized this when we are sharing Excel, and if somebody is trying to,
correct,
then you get the similar kind of.
Yes, you get a message stating that this Excel portion is already used by some user ID and something. Please close the screen or wait for something. Right. So this sometimes functions like a database management system, that is for Notepad or OpenOffice. At times also in Excel, which is not supported by the system group. Okay. On the other hand, for Rdbms, you can go with MS Excel, okay, because it gives you that relatability where at a time multiple people can use it. You can create one Excel sheet and it can go on and on up to n number of people. Okay. In terms of the examples of Rdbms, MySQL, Postgre, SQL Server, Oracle are the one who support this Rdbms. Guys, can you be in mute? Yeah. So are you having understanding between DBMS versus Rdbms?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me go through the SQL executions. What can SQL do? I'm going to list down the features here. So it can execute the queries against a database. It can execute, retrieve. So SQL can retrieve data from a database. SQL can insert records in database. It can update the records. It can delete, create a new database, create new tables in database, create stored procedure in database, can create views in a database, can set permission on tables, procedures, and views. Okay, so these are few SQL executions, or majorly most which is used. Okay, for our understanding towards the BA, whatever is mentioned over here, only the second last is what we can consider. You can't create though, but you can look into it. Okay, but you cannot do either of anything which is there in this list. You cannot create, you cannot delete, you cannot update, nothing. You can only view that too with the requirement of permission. Fine. The next is tables in SQLs. So tables in SQL are termed as mentioned below. A row will be termed as record, a column will be termed as a field, a unique key identifies a table row. How? So if I show you this example, every column here with the ID, name, city, state, pin code will call as a field, and from ID till the number of 4 we call it as a rows. I hope we all are familiar with the column and rows in MS Excel.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now I'll show you what happens here. Like it says a unique key identifies a table row, how it is happening and how to figure out things. So I've taken example of retail store over here. You can see there are 3 different tabular forms. First is the sales, which you can see here. Second one is for item, and third one is towards a customer. So this sales, the first diagram, what you see here is the which, I mean, how to say, it's the one which will represent in the retail store system. Most of us would have gone to DMart, right?
Sir,
I mean,
excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, there is a lot of background disturbance.
Yeah,
also
actually.
So, yes, sir.
TV's noise or something, the background noise.
There is a noise.
Can you mute everyone, sir?
No,
can
everyone
mute,
is
sir.
mute only, but the voice is from, I guess, Ravi's side.
Give me a minute, let me check on this, guys. Is it audible? I mean, is it clear now, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope everybody is able to not hear again some disturbance or something like that will be told.
Yes, sir. Now it is clear, sir.
Because this Ganesh Puja, right, going on outside, so can't help it. Kindly bear with me.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, let us come back to the topic. Most of us would have gone to multiple departmental stores, right? Small, big, wherever, which is near to your home. And most of us nowadays are maintaining a system, right? So moment you buy any item, you pick up the item from the shelf and just drop into the cashier hands, and they will scan it or something, or they will update manually, and then you will get the receipt. Does it happen that way?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you get that receipt in your hand, you get to know what and all. What is the serial number? First thing. What is the item you have purchased? What is the quantity and price and total price? Right. But how do you think it is happening? How system is able to find out that just by a quick scan out of the QR code or a barcode, that items are listed over there? How is it happening?
Predefined, sir.
Right, predefined definitely, but predefined in what aspect that barcode is able to read by the system scanner and it is exactly the same?
Because it's present in a database.
Right. Correct.
It is related.
Yes. So it's a relation database over there, Rdbms. So what happens? Every such stores, that be even departmental store, any organization, any shop, whatever they have, every item what they have, they will put that thing in an inventory. They will store it in database. They will update in the records. Now, once you update that in records, when you run through those barcode or scanner, it will understand that this particular item is for one toothbrush or soap or something like that, and it will read it. Parallelly, it will throw out the price of that this item is one item and its price is 10 rupees. Example. Same thing if you see here in the sales field, it it says the first header is sales ID. Consider this being your sequence or serial number 1, 2, 3. Okay. For time being, skip this green portion and move to the quantity and price. So what is the quantity? 3. And the price showing here is 90,000. That means each item cost is 30,000. Multiple of 3, it becomes 90. And so on with the quantity 1, 1500, and 1 being third one being 30,000. Now, can you see this golden key attached or tagged to each of the item ID and the IDs here?
Yes.
Yes.
This golden key is nothing but your primary key. And the primary key, to talk in a very simple language, is nothing but your reference number or serial number. Example, when you are using MS Excel and you have a data with you, small, big, huge, whatever it may be, and you have to do some kind of activity. Let's say you're trying to put a pivot table. How many of you are aware with the pivot tables?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Most of us?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. So when I'm placing a pivot table, what will be my reference in the master sheet?
One particular column which I would like to relate to my and then find the other column data.
Okay. So if I'm using Vlookup formula, if you are using a Vlookup formula for the master data to retrieve some desired output, how will you put what will be your reference over there?
One unique ID, sir.
Right. That unique ID will be the first row itself, right?
Yeah, the first column or
first column is 1, 2, 3, whatever SQL number is there, or whichever is the static one, so that it can update itself whenever required next time. If that unique field is not there, will it be possible for you to do a VLOOKUP?
No, sir.
No,
You
sir.
cannot do it. Right. This VLOOKUP, when you do in MS Excel, unique key or the reference what you take. Why? Because it is not repetitive, it is dynamic. Do you see one number repeating again after 10, 20? It will be in a sequence, right? 1 to 20. So 1 comes 1, 2 comes 1, and 3, and so on. Everything is entering one time only. No repetition. That becomes in Dbms or in SQL, we call it as a primary key. Now, if I take you through the item and the customer section, do you think this will split in the entire globe or anywhere will be one simple name, or it will be a repetitive name?
Repetitive.
Repetitive.
Every 100%, if you talk in US, others 2% will be Robert or Will Smith. Same like in India, like one is Rahul and Rohit, you know, that will be repeating. Or in girl's name, if it's a Shweta or Akansha, somebody will be repeating here. I can never consider a name or a state being my reference. To counter that, what we do, we use a primary key, and that primary key becomes your sales ID or the serial number or the item ID. How many items are there? That many numbers will be there. So this becomes my primary key. Are you able to understand what is the primary key now? How many of you are not clear?
Sir, if you can just
Can you please repeat it again, sir?
Can you once again repeat this?
So let's say, okay, let me pull up Excel for you. I hope that should help you out. Let me know if you can see my Excel. Are you able to see the Excel?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now I wanted to give you some names. I don't remember the names and all. I'll put my name only first. Give me a few names.
Rahul.
Vivek. Rahul.
Priya.
Pooja.
Amit.
Ambika.
Sir, Amit Ambika नहीं Amit and Ambika.
हाँ गलती हो गया भाई.
Vijay Narpana.
इसमें क्विक रहते हो. हाँ आगे बताओ.
Lakshman.
Ram.
Venkat.
Bahubali.
Sita. Sita.
अरे ऐसे तो चलते रहेगा बस काफी है. बहुत थैंक यू.
Vinod.
ले भाई. Vinod. Sorry. So now I'm having somewhere around 11 names. Okay. and I'm gonna put here as location. I'm gonna give like India for maybe this many people, and Bharat here. Okay. Now I have to find out as a location and name. I'm gonna put here BHARATH for somebody. Okay, and I want the name over here. So if I have to use a VLOOKUP, how will I do a VLOOKUP? What will be my reference?
Bharat.
Bharat.
Column C.
Column C,
Do
sir.
here VLOOKUP.
VLOOKUp.
Okay, and
Table array.
from
Name
which cell?
Name
Column C, sir.
BNC.
BNC both. Yes.
Yeah, BNC.
Sir, VLOOKUP will not work here. Actually, the values are on the left
Correct,
of the column.
And the values are repeated, I guess.
What happened here?
Sir, reference 1, sir. 1. You have written 2.
1 or 0.
Sir, VLOOKUP works toward the right hand side.
Yes. So now VLOOKUP cannot go in this order, right? From left to right.
Yes.
It can never happen. Fine. It can happen only with the XLOOKUP, which is new one, which does not support here.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, can you explain the VLOOKUP method?
We are not here for VLOOKUP. We are here for SQL. Isn't it?
Okay. No, you are using that. That's why.
See, I'm trying to help you out understand what is the primary key. Primary key is something which will be unique. These names single are here. Okay. But if I repeat this name for every third person or fourth person, will it be unique? It can't be unique because the names are repeating here. Ravi is twice. Or at the same time, if I repeat Lakshman down to 3,
yes, sir.
It can't be unique. Right. So what happens to make this table unique? I'll use a system function of 1, 2, 3 numbers and all.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens here? I will not be bothered or even worried if my B and C are repetitive or single or multiple or one time. Why? My serial number is unique and it is correct. So I can take a reference over here. Let's say I'll take a reference of let's say here like this. I'm getting it Vivek here, India, because it is India here, right? But what if my Vivek repeats here another time? One minute. It is working like a Dbms.
It's only taking the first Vivek, sir.
Yes, it's taking the first Vivek, but not the second Vivek.
Yeah.
Right. So what is happening? I'm not getting the right information. Understanding? But if I change it to whatever name it was, I don't. Okay, Amit. So now it will take only the one which is repeating for India, because others are not repeating. Means there's only one Vivek.
So, sir, just to add to what you're saying, maybe for every organization, staff ID is a unique one.
Yes, your employee ID.
Yeah, employee ID is a unique one.
Unique
So you
one.
You can use that as a unique key or the primary key.
See, unique ID there, yes, unique, your employee ID will be unique over there for the system and to define each aspect. Because let's say one number is there for you and two and so on are there. What happens? You might have worked in one project and then move to other project. Again, you will not get a new employee ID. You will be continuing with the same existing employee ID which you received in the day of joining. But in database, there will be a correction happening against your existing process to the new process. And that will be traced out based on this sales ID or the unique number or the primary key. Are you able to understand? Is it clear?
Sir, Manorama's video is on.
Please close your videos. Okay. So are you understanding what is the importance of primary key here in this feature? Guys?
Yes.
See here in the sales ID one, I am having a green section of item ID. Item ID is a separate table. Where is it? Next to it. Is this item table? Item database, whatever you can call it. Okay. And then you have one more section here, which is for customer ID. I want you to observe the cursor here. So you can see there's a customer ID with the number 2. In customers table, who is number 2? What is the name here? Sean Smith. Okay. Now understand one thing. This person or fellow went to a store and have purchased one item. That item is for camera with the description of 64 megapixel. Okay. Who was the person name? Sean Smith from Tampa, Florida, and this is his address. Purchased item quantity is 3. So the total value will reflect as 90,000. That means each item worth is how much?
30,000.
30,000. Okay. Now this is an example which I'm sharing with you. But when you look into the same thing, let's say you are buying anything from Amazon or even an offline store, it will give you the quantity as one, and then that actual value and the grand value. Actual value will be 30,000. Grand value will be in multiple of units of 90,000. Am I right?
Yes.
This is how it happens
Yes,
when you
sir.
buy item from Amazon or big basket or anything. It shows you clearly that how it's happening. These things entirely happens in the database, because once you scan the QR code and the items multiple whatever you're buying, that will get stored over there. And once you try to pull up that in terms of receipt form or whatever, the structure will somehow look like this somewhere in the middle of the sheet or the piece of paper. Now this is functional happening because of this sales ID or item ID or ID that is for sequence or the primary number or primary key. I hope you are able to understand how it is functioning. This green section is called foreign key. Understand one thing. The first grid, what you see here will be the home tab. We call it home tabular form also. And the green section, whatever is there, we call them as a foreign key, because these two tables are connected or grid connected to the other database. This is the database for item. There is a DB for the customer, and so on. It's coming here. There should be one question from you all. Are you able to phrase that question? After going through these three, there should be one right question coming from any one of you.
How it is connected, so how all three are connected.
One
How
too
are these
many.
tables connected?
Anything more? See, your question is right. Now what happens? The very first thing, why we should have this many tables? Is it right to ask that question? Why we have too many tables like this?
Maybe we are defining, sir, the keys.
Okay.
The output should be simple.
Simple. Okay. Anything else?
For sorting the data.
Okay. Anything else?
With one
For the purpose of inventory management.
Bifurcating the information.
Okay.
with one single table, we can fetch all the detail from the other tables.
Yeah, but why we have like this? Why can't we maintain one table only?
Confidentiality.
It is very difficult to maintain some too many data in one single table and then to analyze those all the data and to fetch the required thing.
Right.
Sir, it's
Different
easier to
departments are
understand.
maintaining different.
Visualization.
It is easy to create the key, sir. If we are creating a table, unique key will be created. And that is what is important because we have to establish the primary key and foreign key relationship for us to pull the data.
Right. So appreciate your participation here. The very first thing for this big, huge companies towards this management of DB is risk factor. When I say risk factor, consider you're working on this item table and the second row, that is for memory card and 128 GB, whatever is there, is deleted somehow. Okay. And you're running this activity again. What will happen? In case your item ID is 2 and customer ID 2 is there, but this section only they are trying to purchase. What is the outcome you will get here?
Correct data will not be received.
Your data will not show the value because this data is removed or deleted by accidentally or somehow from the database file or this data tabular form. Are you getting? If I am maintaining one sheet or one data, anything can happen. We all know MS Excel, if you store too much of data at one point of time, it will just freeze. Have you seen any time?
Yes,
It will
sir.
freeze,
Yes, sir.
it will not react.
Yes,
only.
sir.
If you try to do maintenance, it will say, I'm Tata bye bye, I'm corrupted now. It will not function. Database, on the other hand, manages multiple set of data, multiple huge data, and everything placing in one tabular form is always a risk factor.
Okay.
One person who is having good idea on database will never go with that theory at all. They will break into multiple aspects. So what happens here? I am showing you in two tabular, but in reality, if I take this sample, your sales ID will be one definitely. Your item ID separate, customer ID separate, quantity will be separate, and price will be separate. I will maintain nearly 4 different tabular form which will be interconnected here, and I can name them as a foreign key. Guys, can you be on mute? There is a background. Okay. So why is it done? Because if something goes wrong here, anything goes missing or corruption happen in the file folder anywhere, your data will not run, or if it runs also, it will not give you the right output. And to pull back where it happened, the database person has to again relook into the entire big story. The directory has to find, and it will take a lot of time. Are you all clear? What is the primary key importance and why there are so many set of data created separately in DB?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question here?
Sir, just for my clarification, in these 3 tables, we can see item and customer as foreign key.
Right.
So onto the left, the sales table with the sale ID is, that should be considered as primary key?
Yes.
Okay.
Every first line with the ID numbers 1, 2, 3, which is unique, is a primary key here.
Okay. So in case of all these 3 tables, their ID, the first column is their primary key.
Correct. Because what happens, these all 3 are connected with each other. If you do any changes here, it will, if you say example, if I take item 1, item ID 1 here, it will refer to this item table. It will look what is number 1 here. Number 1 is camera 64 megapixels. First thing, it will choose here. Second thing, who is the customer who is giving the order? So second number is Sean Smith. So this name will not reflect here, but it will look into the database that who is that person. If that name they are storing, right? And then depending upon the item and the value, it will throw out the price, which will be in your master file.
Okay, so in these 3 cases, sir, there's no fixed thing that which is primary or which is foreign, but it depends on in what context we are using. In that case, it will change their nomenclature.
Yes, the moment you change from item ID from 1 to 3, it will go for headphone. Understanding? This is the 3, right? In item table, headphone with high bass. So if you take here number 3, it will again ask for the quantity. I'll let me take you towards your big basket item. I believe most of you would have seen that thing. When you are trying to buy one item, moment you select and you go into the cart, it will show you if you want to repeat that thing into multiple pieces, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But your unit value remains as it is. If it's 10 rupees, it will show 10 only. But when you select 4 items of the same thing or 4 pieces, the grand value changes to 40. Why? Because you have ordered for 4 items. Am I right or different?
Yes, sir. So
Right?
can you please repeat in one line what is the purpose of having multiple tables? Like if someone asks what should be the one line answer?
One line answer is the risk factor. If anything goes wrong, if my interconnected fields or some tables are not working or it get deleted, it will not function properly in my master file. Now,
And in the master,
over here, I have given Vivek as India. Okay. Let me delete this. Okay. Let me put here. Priya, be happy. USA. Okay. And I remove this. What do you call Vivek for India? What happens here? Notice this section. If I delete this Vivek C column here, India, I want you to observe here in the G section. If I delete, what happens?
Okay.
What happened, guys?
This is also deleted and
So
location
zero.
against Vivek.
0. There is no value, which is incorrect. There is some value which is not showing. If I delete properly from the cell itself, what happens now?
It changes again itself.
It says different country only or something like that. Isn't it? So to avoid this thing, we create separate columns or separate data headers. Okay, anything goes wrong over here also, you still have time to recheck back and make it correct. But if you maintain one proper data set here and run this way, anything goes wrong, you will not have sufficient time. You might have time, but you have to use more time to figure out where is the loop. To counter these things, to stop this kind of issues, we create separate sheet. Plus, there is more benefit. If I am maintaining separate sheet here, I can modify in that area only. Are you able to understand? If you want to make corrections towards this item table and you want to increase the quantity or you want to increase the entries or delete somebody, you can do here without any problem. Okay, and your master file will act according to it. Same thing you can do for customer. But if you club this entire thing into one master file and try to make corrections, something goes wrong, your output table will not show the correct value. So where the item has to go for 90,000, you might get the item only for 10,000. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to communicate?
Yes, sir.
How many of you are confused?
Little bit, sir.
Where?
Yes, sir. And the same, if the ID is removed, you remove their India. So there I got confused.
Removed India. Yeah, see, what I'm trying to say here is, I was trying to look for this fellow, right? Vivek. He is from India. Fine. And the same thing is reflecting here when I'm running the names. Let's say if I change from here to make it Puja, it becomes Europe because it is Europe here, right? Correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
That I understand. Yes.
Fine. Now, if I make some corrections in this table, that is column C, and I'll remove the Europe and delete it. And imagine this is your data upon which you are relying. That if I put the name, I should get the country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But here it's showing 0. Is it right?
Yes, yes.
As per right, it is right because there is no data. Means something happened here. Accidentally or intentionally somebody did something. leading to which what is happening? My data is not coming.
My data
If,
is not.
okay, now if I pull it back, and let me give you in this way. So remove here, or if I give a name like what happens here?
Cross check.
Check.
That's an error message, right? If you look into the formula, if error, if not found, throw this error. Why? The name is same. Your formula is towards the puja, which was here, but now it is not there. This is my database, and there is some mistake happening here. So I'm not finding puja name. It's asking me to cross check. Imagine if you're running the same thing for your company or a retail store, and one of the item field is missing or corrupted. How will you get to know what happened there? Can you find it?
Yes, sir.
If you find it, it will be easy for you to locate, or it will take some time.
Easy to look.
It will be easy to locate. My question is, why is it happening even? Why can't we find out a way where nothing goes wrong for me? I cannot let my database or table form go wrong. It should work properly every time. What will you do that time? Any suggestion?
Sir, the background is very disturbing, sir. Can you please?
बाबू को तो समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा यार.
Is it okay now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
किसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है? Somebody told समझ में नहीं आ रहा. See, you have to understand what
the noise.
Sorry?
Maybe he was referring to the noise which is coming in the background.
Okay. You have to understand one thing. In DB or data or SQL here, when you are working for, let's say, banking or any aspect, this is the scenario which is common for all the aspects. Retail store is common for everything, everywhere maximum. You will have multiple data sheets connected to your master file. We make it separate so that if something goes wrong to my subtask or sub level of this category files, it will be limited to that category only. It will not impact or hinder to my connecting CS series. Are you able to understand?
Yeah, sir. You were asking one question in the Excel. I couldn't hear that.
No, I'm asking that in Excel, I have given a name like Pooja and then I removed the name. And I have modified my formula to cross check as a alert message.
Error.
Okay, error message. So if that happened, now if you see the name is Pooja and Europe is the country coming here. And if I remove this name and put as like whatever. So it says cross check. System also function this way at times. It says to cross check here, I'm giving example, but in system, it will say different way to look into the area, unable to locate the file, unable to locate the entry. Means that particular area, that particular area of work is hindered, something went wrong. Either even if I not put, okay, let me do it in this way. Why it's showing cross check again if Pooja name is still there? Any of you?
Sir, can you just go to the Excel, the cell?
You have not to see
format.
The formula, sir. I missed to check where you're saying cross check. Yeah, sir.
Because of the tabular names.
Tabular names. Everything is fine here. My only question is Pooja is here also. Pooja name is here. It should show Europe, but it's showing cross check. Why? This is why DB is not
Because
assigned
the
to.
location and names.
Cause and
the
location.
column name
Maybe
has been
because
changed.
because we first deleted the name, so the data has changed or the formula must have changed.
I will repeat once again. Let me know if you can catch it. It's coming now. Europe. Can you see it's Europe here next to Pooja? Are you
Yes,
all
sir.
able to see?
We can check. Yeah, we can see.
Now it's not coming. Why?
Yeah, because there's a space, sir.
Right. There's an extra space here after A. Understanding? Now, if for this area of Excel, if you're finding error, imagine with the millions of data stored in database in one singular format, will you be able to have sufficient time to go back and check what happened where?
No.
No.
Practically not
That's why
possible.
we have to maintain different sheets.
So what we do, we maintain different sheet, we maintain a proper format and structure. Whatever you make entry towards the system understanding of language of C, C++, whatever you call, either a var character or n variant, whatever you use, it will maintain in one format. So that whatever name you enter, spaces, everything is considered correctly and you get the proper output. Working with this data of 10 to 12 entries is okay. Anybody can sit down and keep checking. But if I have 12 lakh or maybe millions of data with me, nobody can sit and work on that. It will be a tough call. To make sure we don't face that issue, we create separate tabular form and we make it connect by serial number or also known as primary key, so that it connects with all the relevant sister files and give me the output. Understanding? Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can you once again differentiate between primary key or foreign key?
Okay. This is an example for you. You have to consider any time when you move into Flipkart or Amazon or any site, whatever you go, browse through and order an item, whatever you get with the receipt copy, you can find the kind of format over there. What item you have purchased for, ordered for, what is the value, and how many copies or what do you call that? How many times you have wanted that thing, and what is the grand value. Let's say if I'm having the sales table to my left hand side and then item on the right and customer on the center. These all are my database or structured format. Okay. Here, when I look into my sales, which is into the counter, this green section which you see here is something called as foreign key, which is hidden. It will not reflect in system also. It will run in the background. Okay. But this item ID and customer ID, which is foreign key, is connected to my item table here and the customer table, which is here. Okay. So when I run first item, let's say first sale is happening for the day and somebody from item ID, first ID has selected this camera. In the item table, can you see this camera?
Yes, sir.
This will get captured here in the item ID section here. And then it will also parallelly look for the customer who is buying. So customer number it shows here is number 2. Number 2 will check here. It says Sean Smith, Tampa, whatever is there. For a storage purpose, it will store here. Plus, next thing is how many items or quantity he is buying what. He has ordered for 3 quantity and total value or the price appears to be 90,000. So what is the item he has purchased? Sean Smith.
Camera.
Camera. Right. So he has purchased camera worth 3 quantity and the worth price reflects here is 90,000. Okay. So from foreign key to this field, you are able to understand how it is capturing data.
Yes.
Okay. Now item ID 1, green section, foreign key. How is it able to find that it is camera only?
Primary key.
With primary key item ID.
Yes. Primary key of my item section is number 1 and number 1 is selected here and the item is camera, description with 64 megapixel whatever, and the quantity is 3, it is capturing. Okay. Now the same thing is repeated for the other item, that is second item ID 2, that becomes a memory card. right? And the customer ID is again 2, so same person. Sean Smith has purchased, and this time he has purchased only one item, sorry, one quantity. And the price of this one is 1,500. Your foreign key, this section is very important because it is capturing from the item section. Customer section for the different organization or company might matter, might not matter also. So secondary. But the item section is very important because it will display what is the item you're trying to buy or the customer is trying to buy and with how much quantity and the value of it. Are you understanding? If this item ID section is not there in both customer in this field, your values of 1, 2 is not, it will not be able to find who is that person, which is the item here. Are you able to connect? Do you think in your current working nature, wherever you do, you work in MS Excel, if there is no serial number, can you work on Vlookup formula?
No.
Why? Why is it like that? Anyone?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat the question once?
Yeah, what I'm asking is, in the current organization where you're working, and considering that you are working in MS Excel, let's say you have some data and you have to run through a Vlookup formula. Consider you don't have the serial number field only. There is no row. Can you perform Vlookup?
Not possible, sir. You have to
No, sir, not possible.
Either
Right.
you have to create define and then run Vlookup, or else it is not.
Right. So why is it needed to have a serial number over there?
Serial number is identifying a unique ID. For...
Right. Right. At the same time, let me take out the serial number for now. And I'm giving you, let's say you have 1,000 names and you to find out the country of that person. Okay. 1,000 Indian names and the state, whatever. And you have multiple names over there. If you run Vlookup, what will happen?
Exact value we won't get.
Repetition of names, if it is there, then it will get stuck in the first name.
Yes, whichever first comes, it will show the same country like what happened now. Isn't it? Or it might throw an error message that unable to locate, or it will show a * number over there, or reference not found. So I'm getting a lot of error issues over there. To counter that thing, we will always use serial number, which will be a unique identification to run through any formulas or any connectivity. The same thing is happening here in DB. We call it very simpler way, primary key, and to the tables which you are referring to will be called as foreign key.
And foreign key is also a primary key for that referent table, right?
Yes, yes. Every table will have the serial number, a foreign key, but this table, what you are seeing here, will be my master file. And next, all whatever you see here will become my substitute file or supporting file. I hope it makes sense to all of you.
Sir, my master file, one question is, sir, my master file, once I define a master file, that will be like a constant one, right, sir?
Yes, that will be static.
Okay, sir.
That will be static in terms of the format, not in terms of the input. Input can change, but structure will remain as it is. Okay. All of you clear?
So I have one question. Can the customer table can also have a foreign key? Like in the sales, we have 2 foreign key. So the customer table also, if it is related to another more tables, it can have more than one foreign key.
In customer table, you're talking this one?
Yeah. So let's say there are more tables which we have to relate it with the customer table. So can we have more foreign keys, more than one foreign key in that also, like sales?
You can do again, but again, that's a condition apply. If something goes wrong in the customer table, okay, it will impact back and forth.
Okay.
So to avoid this situation, it is possible. I can add here foreign key and I can connect to my previous file. So whenever I work in this area, in my sales data, it will automatically capture data, my input from the customer file. But if my customer file itself get corrupted, then what we will do? in IT on this database or SQL, we don't live with assumptions. That's everything will go fine. What if is major factor here. To avoid that what if, we will create multiple schemes. We create multiple structure tables and we update the data accordingly. And this connectivity of each set of data table in multiple angular is also called as database schema. Let us go proceed further. You will get to know what this. Let me know. Are you clear with the primary key or foreign key here? All of you?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, yes.
The next is SQL commands. These are the 4 commands which is very important in SQL. No matter where you go for interview also, they might ask you what are the commands you are aware with. So it is DDL, data definition language, DQL, data query language, DML, data manipulation language, DCL, data control language. As in BA, as a BA, we are not looking into these things, means not important for us except for view. But for knowledge purpose, we will look into it. So in terms of your data, DQL, what happened? For DDL, there are like around 6 commands, which is for create, alter, drop, rename, truncate, and comment. Okay, you can look into it. The create is procedure command used to create a stored procedure data. A stored procedure is a prepared SQL code that you can save so that code can be reused over and over again. How many of you are good with Excel in terms of commands? Most of you are aware with Excel, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How many of you keep typing in the same activity? And how many of you prepare a command in the development screen so that it can keep on running whenever you want? They are not clear for you all.
You are talking about macros.
Macros, exactly.
Yeah, macros.
Macros.
So if I type here like 2 plus 2 should be 4. Okay. So this is only functioning when I give a command. Right? And if I make here 3 or 8, whatever, it will change. So I can give, this is also one of way of giving command, but I can make it a macro also. So any value I give from any angle, it will get the outcome. And I can save it for future purpose. I can just open it, open the Excel file, and I can run the command. But over here, if I close, it might not be working again, or I might delete also. Anything can happen, but if I take in an area where I can give a macro command, it can run on any system, anytime. The same thing happens here in your DDL with the create. You create one command and save it. And whenever you want to run through the same programming again, you can click on the create section, pull back that command and run it. Am I clear?
Yes.
How many of you are still confused?
Yes, sir.
Sir, one question is, like you said, can we see any such example, sir, which a command, how does it look like in DDL?
In DDS, and you want to see this thing in SQL for create?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Something like
Yes, sir.
yeah.
I have no idea on that one. Why? Because I'm strictly limiting myself to the area of work what a BA does. Because I have never seen, never used this one, so I don't have much idea on this one. I can show you how tables are created and how to extract it, whatever. Okay, that's why I said DDL and other commands are something for your knowledge purpose, but it will be of no use because it will not be asked. Okay.
So as BA, we will never use this.
No, this is something. See, DDL and DQL commands or DML, DCL, whatever is, this is known globally. These are the only 4 commands for SQL aspect. In DDL, for data definition language, these are the 4 areas which our database management team will work upon, but not a BA. As a BA, we don't have any idea on the coding, right? Do we know technical coding?
Yes.
How many of all you know coding?
From a BA perspective, I think we are not required.
Not required. So the same aspect, even a developer will not have access for the SQL. Though he knows the coding, though he might know SQL also, it will not be asked for a developer. Not even the chief level of the people, not even a client. Only database team will have the access. They are the one who are responsible for its maintenance. So we have to only understand towards this SQL4 command, DDL, DML, DCL and all, what are the things within it? That's it. So for DDL, you have create, alter, drop, rename, truncate, and comment. Okay. Similar way. For DQL, you will have a select language, select command only. For DML, data manipulation language, you will have insert, update, delete, merge, call, explain plan, lock table. That is for data manipulation language. And towards your DCL, that is data control language, two things which you will look into. Grant and revoke. This grant and revoke will not be done by us. Grant and revoke will be given by your database management team. If your client or your internal team sends an email to the database team, kindly provide them access to view some table or structure for a few minutes. You will receive the link. You will have the permission, and that permission is bound to be there only for a few minutes, depending upon the team. Might be for 10 minutes, and automatically for 10 minutes it will get revoked. Am I clear?
Yeah, sir, could you just show the screen for DQL? You're showing something. Select data from a database.
The data return is stored in result table called the result set. As a BA, we use this feature to search any desired data if required or asked. To search, if you have multiple tables with ABC names and they want to look into any one factor table, you might have to search that thing in SQL using that command.
And for DML, sir?
DML has insert. Insert means adding. Update means modifying. Delete, totally remove the table itself. Merge, collating two different tables in one. Okay. Call is again an explain plan, which is supported by PLSQL when executed dynamically. Very rarely it happens. Explain the plan. Explain plan is something which will talk about the database hierarchy. Okay. And lock table to prevent deadlocks.
PL means, sir?
PL. PLSQL is again an application, right? Rdbms.
But can you please show the interface, like how it looks like? Where do we use all?
Sir, question over here in that DQL segment is used to select data from a database. So as a BA, we are using this feature, the DQL, the query DQL portion, right?
As a BA, towards a real environment, you might have only asked for DCL, data control language, that too for grant and revoke. Okay. Means grant means what? You will have access to view. That's it. And after a few minutes, it will be revoked.
Right, sir. So when we were seeing the DQL screen, the information is saying that as a BA, we use this feature to search any desired data if required or asked. So it could be that it may be useful or not, depending upon the organization. So in DQL, do we have to write any query for us to fetch some data?
You will not. Yeah, there are some commands which we have to know on how to pull them or how to create them.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, like I told you, we will not be even creating also. You will only view. Nobody is going to ask you to even create. Believe me, it's rare. I mean, it will only happen if you are working in under the client organization. Client want you to look specifically if he's sitting next to you. That is when it's going to happen. Else, it will be straightforward gone to the technical team only.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So at this stage in the data query language section, do we need to like for our career, do we need to know some basic queries or something that may be asked or something?
Basic queries are something only to view. If you are going for interview also, they will ask you only one question about SQL, that how good you are SQL aware with SQL. You can tell that I have some idea, some knowledge on it. And what you can do, Max, is that I can view on it. Nobody will ask you to create. Even they put an interview also, they know that you in real company in your work, they will not ask you. They will not have the leverage itself. You will not have the leverage. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So next is we'll go through the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio version 19, which I'll be showing you today. And I believe you should, if you can download this thing through Google itself. Okay. If not, you can contact back your student coordinator. If they are able to help you, they will be assist you in downloading this. Now, next is how does the screen look like in SQL? So this is the landing page. Once you click on the application, okay, this is how it will look like. And left hand side, you can see an option called as connect. Okay.
So someone is scribbling.
Yeah. Can you see the option called as connect here?
Yes.
Okay. So when you click on the connect button here, this is how the box will appear. Authentication box. Your database engine will remain static as it is. Server name will be might be a machine name. Okay. And Windows authentication is needed towards the username as laptop, whatever. And then click on connect, and it will allow you to move to the next screen. This will become your second screen, which becomes your ribbon, where you can see multiple options of file, edit, and many things which you can work upon database SMS. Followed by your connect screen, where you will have all this database security server objects links appearing, by using which you can create. And whatever you click here, whatever you try to pull out will appear in the canvas sheet, which will be on the right hand side. Fine.
Sir, we will going to use this SQL that software.
Yeah. Yes, you can look into it.
No, we are using as a BA this software.
This is common for all.
Okay.
Only view access.
It is common for global SQL.
So, sir, we will be working on this platform or just viewing it?
You will, like I said, you will only work on this platform when given authorization, when being asked. Otherwise, no. Guys, whoever want to speak, please unmute yourself and ask.
So where we are going to write the select command to extract some data or something?
Don't worry, I'm going to show you a few commands today, how to create what and how to extract. And once you have this application, you can practice at your home so that you have a clear idea. Okay. Okay, guys. So I'll show you DB schema, how it looks like. Have you ever seen this diagram anywhere?
No, sir.
Guys?
No.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
No. Can you
No,
see
sir.
this center data? Database of job history?
Okay.
Okay.
No, sir.
You are not able to see the screen?
No.
Yes, sir. Visible.
can see.
Yeah, sir, able to screen.
Okay. So this is an example I'm giving you of database schema, how it is, how does it look like? Okay. So this is the job history of, let's say, consider yourself like for your company. If you can see on the left hand side, this is an employee ID, company ID, position ID, project ID, like that, with the integer values. This is the command syntax, what you call it, and start date and end date and everything. And the constraints, can you see this is called a PK and FK? What is PK?
Yes, primary key, foreign key.
Foreign key.
Right. Now, whatever connectivity you see outside, this 1, 2, 3 from left to right, whatever, are the foreign boxes. Able to understand now? This is your home table, and whatever comes out is the foreign box for you. By virtue of which your master data is being updated. Okay, so once you create this file over, once it is created by the database team, they will segregate this into relevant header. Okay, so it says employee ID here. Can you see on the left hand side is the employee table here? Employee ID, integer, first name, last name, address, blah, blah, blah. Again, a primary key is here. How many of you are able to understand? How many are able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
one thing is that
Please repeat.
diagram is
Guys, can it be? There's a lot of disturbance in the background.
Sir, please repeat once.
Okay. Sir, my point is over here, what we are currently seeing is something which is created by the DB administrators or the database team.
See, DB schema is not created by somebody. It will automatically capture and reflect in system.
Okay.
You or we will not do. We will just give the commands and create the structure. Background, when you are working on this, how you're trying to connect. Let's say if I take example of this job history being my family. Consider this file itself for your own family. Okay. So who is there? Father, mother, brother, sister. Master family, you can call it. Okay. Out of that family, what comes? Parent, separate entity. Siblings means brother, sister, separate entity. Kids, separate entity. Who are male, separate entity. Who are female, separate entity. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to explain here?
Correct, sir. In addition to what you're saying, sir, this creation of this foreign key and the primary key, and this concept will be used by the DB team. This is for our knowledge only.
Yes. This is for our knowledge so that we understand. This is something which is given for your understanding and knowledge purpose. But if you're thinking that as a BA, we will sit and work on it, that is not going to happen. BA will not work in these things. You will not get the leverage of doing this thing. Because anything goes wrong in any of the field, the DB team has to sit down and relook into it. Nobody will take that risk. Even if,
So this what structure you are showing is something that gets automatically created in the backend while the database team is administering or working on the task, right?
Yes. So as and when you start creating a structure for one of the client, you give them a name, something that I want to have an area where I can see my customer name, customer location, customer balance amount, blah, 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 whatever. This will be a master file for the banking person. And parallelly, I will break it into multiple aspects like customer name, customer location, customer portfolio or customer account, whatever it may be. So what happens if the customer name comes here on the left hand side, every customer related to that bank names will reflect here in this parameter, where constant will be primary key employee ID, means primary key your what do you call customer and the customer ID. What is the customer ID? First customer, somebody second, third, fourth, fifth, like that. So as many customers are there, that many unique primary key will be keep on coming. Understanding? Okay, for your reference, let me tell you, don't break your head too much for this one. It is just for information purpose. More you try to dig into it, you have become coder only. And I don't think people are here to become coder.
Sir, one last quick one here is we are calling it a schema. I mean, what does schema add to this basically?
Schema is this overall structure what you see. This is called schema.
The relationship.
Schema, relationship, yes. The interconnectivity between each of the database is called a schema.
Okay.
Clear? Okay. So next is important commands which we can look into. Select command from what we told seeing just now. Guys, somebody is keying in. Can you please stop it? Yeah, please don't do it. So select table command is here, means select customer name, city from the customers, and you can pull if you have this structure in your database. So this is an example command.
Sir, my voice is audible, sir. Can I ask one question?
Yeah, please.
Sir, so last slide you told that customer ID and customer is the primary key, sir. Okay, so what about foreign key, sir? In that example, in banking, that you are given an example. What is the foreign key?
Foreign key is something which you are trying to pull in the master file. Here, if you see in this example job history, you are having employee ID, company ID, position ID, everything. Okay, this is something you're creating separately in the boxes. Now, once you try to put any data which is trying to fetch other information out of any of these boxes will be a foreign key.
That means
Example,
our employee ID or employee login is the foreign key, sir, so that we can access the customer information. Is it correct, sir?
so your employee ID for this master file will be unique, but when it goes to the employee file itself, it will be a primary key with the sequence 1, 2, 3 and foreign key for your number. Your employee ID in the numbers is a foreign key which will be placed here in the master file.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes.
So some commands which I would like to share with you. Select command. So let's first go through it and then delete, create database, drop database, truncate, insert, grant command, and revoke command. So select table is something when you are trying to find some table, specific table out of the created structure. The command given here is customer name from city customers, city from customers. Delete again is something which definitely will not do, but it is something like delete from customers where customer name equal to so and so. Create database when you want to create a new database. So I've given example like create database test DB. Drop database name is something drop database test DB and then truncate, insert, grant and revoke. Please go have a look in these commands.
Sir, in interviews, will there be questions regarding commands also?
See, we have to understand one thing. Interview, there'll be multiple questions, but they understand that you are applying for a BA. They might ask you how good you are in terms of SQL, and your answer can be in a way that in terms of a BA, I'm not having that much requirement of knowledge of SQL. However, I know how to extract and view. That is more than enough.
Sir, in further project is there, sir, caption project and live projects. Whether this SQL will be useful in that project, sir?
Capstone is something which you are working upon waterfall and agile concept. Nowhere asked SQL in that, right?
Correct.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we're ending with the slides and I will now take you through the SQL application itself. Okay. So let me launch. Give me a minute, guys. Just give me a minute. I'm launching this SQL application.
So can I ask one question?
Yeah, please.
So as you said in the interview, they do ask about what are the different types of database. It is expected that we answer SQL as the DB or Oracle as the DB. So what should be the exact answer when this question arises?
In interview towards the Dbms and database, I have never heard about this question. They might ask you max to max, how good you are in SQL. But they are not looking into that aspect that whether you know in depth of that thing, differentiating between Dbms to Rdbms. That does not happen. Unless you are trying, you are trying for a techno-functional skills, roles, where you know how to do coding also and you want to be BA. That is where they might question you. But only for a BA, if you're trying, this question will never rise.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
In terms of what they ask, how good we are in SQL, if we are applying for B.
Sorry?
Let's say as a BA, what kind of questions are expected related to SQL?
Yeah, maybe we can discuss on the same thing after this class is over, so that we can look into it properly.
Sure, thank you.
Give me a minute, it's taking time to launch. This is,
Sir, is it a freeware software? Anyone can download?
Yeah, you can download from your Google. Sir. It's an open there. There are two applications in the same way. I used to earlier go with SQL Workbench, which was more better to download compared to SSMS. But SQL Workbench nowadays the support is over, so we have to look into SSMS only.
So we can also practice this on W3 schools, right?
You can do, but what happens when a new person who does not have idea on this one, they download, they encounter multiple issues. They don't know what all patches has to be downloaded, what are the extension files to be downloaded, and it becomes a very tedious job for them.
Okay.
So, yep. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. I believe this is the same screen what I have showed in PPT also.
Yes.
And on the left side, you have option called Connect. On top, you have the ribbon where you can see multiple features like file view and multiple things. And one of the favorite thing, execute here. So I'm going to click on Connect. Okay. Click on database. And this is how it will appear for me by default. And I'll go with the Connect option. So now left hand side, I'm having things that, now I'm successfully authenticated and I can see my laptop name and everything with the features. For me, first thing I have to know, if I have to create table or pull table, my pulling or extracting of data can only happen when it exists. Am I right?
Yes.
If the thing is not existing, I can't extract even. So let us understand first of all how to create or do what is there. If you click on database tool, you can see the left hand side is the plus symbol. I'm clicking on it and it will stretch. So now I have option called system database, database snapshot, and then demo, which I had created. If you click on demo, I will have these many things to look into. Create on database diagrams. It says database does not have one or more diagrams. I don't want it now. So what I'm going to do now here is I'm going to create a table. Okay, so how will I do it? You're gonna click on database. It will get selected in a blue color. Click right side on your mouse or keypad. Select new database option. So once you key on it, a dialog box should open like this. All of you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
You will have something called database name here, where the cursor will be blinking. Just give a name like demo _ SQL. I'm gonna put it like that, and I'm gonna click on add.
Not
Okay.
we are not able to see
Sir,
that
it's not
dialog
visible,
box.
sir.
It's not visible,
We are not able to see
One
dialog.
minute. I believe it's showing different screens then. Okay, you can see now in database which is selected.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna select it. Can you see the new database option reflecting here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I click on this. Are you able to see the new dialog box?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Can you see it now?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, now it
Yes,
is
sir.
visible.
So now I'm gonna give a name here like demo -SQL DB. Okay, and I'm gonna click on OK. I can either add or I can click on it. Let's go with OK only. So once you click on OK, one minute. Are you able to see the screen now of SQL?
Yes, sir.
After creating
Yes,
that new
sir.
option?
Yes, sir.
See that database previous to it, and then before it you have plus symbol. Click on this plus, it will expand and you can find that name here. This is what I created, right? Demo SQL DB.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Click on plus symbol here and you can find these many folders: database, diagrams, tables, view, and all those things. Let me see if I have something in tables. System table, file table, these all will be empty or it will not work on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract it back. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to put a new query. Not responding. Okay, this is the place where you will type a commands. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Addition to this, to make the life little more easier, what we do, I click over here, or let me pull this, extract this feature, click on tables. Click on this. If you see, if I'm not sure if you're able to see or not, if you click on database demo, which I created now, click on right side, it says script database as create to, drop to, drop and create to. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
These are the features
Yes,
which
sir.
will be there for you to work upon. Plus, if you click on the other aspect, we will have option which will ask you to reflect the structure, which is not coming. 1 minute. Okay. New database. New 1 minute, guys. New database. Basically, it will show an option where I can have the pre-filled options, which will be more easy for you to view, which is not reflecting. 1 minute. Guys, give me a minute. Let me pull back the right information so that I can share with you. I'm going to stop the sharing for a few minutes.
Okay, sir.
Guys, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can pick any folder over here, like I showed. You can click on database and you can either click a new database or restore database, whatever, if not there. Okay. And if you click new database, it will open up a dialog box where you can give the names and work on that one. parallelly.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
It is visible.
It is visible.
It's visible. Like I'm telecasting the same screen. Right? All of you are having same issue or only one person?
Yeah, no, sir, it is visible. Your screen is
No, sir,
visible.
it is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So once you click over here, you can either, like I gave here, option demo database and demo SQL database. Basically, once you click over it will show you an option where you can pick or find out first 200 entry or 1000 entries. Okay, which accidentally is not reflecting it. Would have been more easier for anybody to connect with it. However, if you want to create table, you can click on new query, a new canvas will open. This is how the canvas will open, and you can create a database, which is done here. And you can give like a table insert. You can either select it or you can leave it and execute. Click on the execute button, or you can press F5 from your keypad. Once you do this thing, you can see bottom, it says database table insert already exists because it's already created here under same name. So I'm gonna delete this functionality now, and you can see here. Can you see it's here? Command completed successfully. Table is here. Are you able to see the screens?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Why is it showing successful and the last time it was not, sir?
because I am into the same, see in demo SQL DB, if I put two commands of same syntax, it will conflict, right?
Okay. There was two tab open in that way.
Yes. So what happens? It was conflicting and it was showing not unable to create because it is already existing. However, it was not. So what happens once they create here? This is how it will look like. The best way was to give you an option where you can look into it on how many tables or how many areas you want to create for. New query editor window. Okay. Now this is a pre-recorded session or something. Can you see the screen? There are commands here.
Yes, sir.
This is mostly with the alter database only. With here with the full text service, which we don't want to look into now because it is not that important. But yes, for creating table, like I told, you will have option here which will give you the feature to update more than 2 or 1000, mostly 200. What do you call it? Features. Not sure why it is not coming. This is create and this will 1 minute, guys. One. Push and I will figure it out. You have option call of view where you can please give me a minute, guys. Still finding the option. So let's say if I click in this way for SQL demo, which I have created, I'll go into the tables. Can you see the one I have selected now? All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Click on new and create a table here. If you click on the table, it will open up a new factor here where you can give the name. Column name, data type, allow null. So let's say I'll give a column name as SQL session, and data type I will, for now I'm leaving it for character on n, allow nulls, and next I'll give a name like Kumar, and same give Ravi. Okay, let me do it in this way so that it becomes more easy for you. I'll give it a name as employee name, employee ID, project, client, location. Now we have to understand one thing here when you're doing. I'm not sure how many people of you understand the difference between the varchar and nchar. If like when you are defining the values over here in terms of the name or number, we have to change the syntax accordingly, or the array, what we call it. Like it should be either in terms of a varchar or a string. I'm gonna change it to varchar 50. Okay, so it will limit till that. I'm gonna paste the same thing in all other factors. Okay, and
What does it mean, sir? Varchar?
Varchar is something which will take any alphabets.
Alphabets or and
Alphabets
numbers.
and numbers. Okay.
Okay.
So it will take
Integer
in that
will
way.
take only numbers, right?
Yes, integer will go with only with numbers. So I'm gonna give it like that and maintain it here. Okay. Now.
Nchar
Sorry.
There's a difference
Nchar
between
is-
nchar
varchar
will
and
only will have numbers, and in varchar we can take both.
Both, yes.
Okay,
Nchar,
okay, thanks.
numerical characters. Nchar. Varchar will go with both. Okay. So once
what
I'm
is
done
the
with this,
difference between varchar and char?
character. Char is nothing but character. N is numeric. Variable means variable. Are you getting my point?
Okay, sir. Next.
Yes, sir.
As of now, we don't have to look into this. I'm giving you the feature here, which you can see. However, it is something which you can create a table over here. Okay. So once you're done with this way, come into the same thing, refresh here.
So is there any meaning of 50?
50 is the word limit.
Maximum character.
Maximum characters. Like that. Okay. And then when I come down, I will check.
Sir, one question. Allow nulls means?
What is that? Allow nulls means in SQL, we cannot leave any structured space blank. At least you should have 0 over there.
Okay, so 0 will be
0 will be a value here, because you cannot leave any space. Let's say you're typing here employee name, character, and this allow nulls becomes unchecked. Okay, when you run this one, it will not run properly because the cell is still empty. It will not let you give any option to command or give a key also.
okay. In that way, we are allowing any nulls to be accepted.
Accepted, yes, yes. So now, once you do this activity, refresh this. Why is it open? So once you create the table, it will ask you to I'm going to create it again because I'm not finding that feature. I'm going to save this thing and give a name like demo -SQL and click on OK. Okay. So now when I refresh this in the SQL table, can you find this name here, which I selected?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to
Yes,
see?
sir. Yeah.
Click on this feature, right click and click select top 1000 rows. Can you find this? Can you see this here? Is it reflecting according to the area how I have given?
Yes, sir.
I have given in this way, right? Employee ID, employee name, project, process, client location. And when you run on the same thing, it finds the same aspect. And the command starts from here. If I am doing the same thing in SQL Workbench, I might have to start putting code, which is not possible because I'm not that good in that. But if I'm using SSMS, this tool, it will give you an option where you can create the same table or tabular form however you want, and you can recheck back, confirming on that to the client that yes, it is looking in the same area and it is working fine. So what happens when I work on this feature now? Here is the format where it will ask you to the give name. So I give a name like 1212 and give like a Rahul. Project name, let's say Tesla, and process is automation, and client is again Tesla, and the location is Nebraska. Other name again, I'll give something like Rohit, and again this is for again automation, and this is from Mumbai. Sorry, client is again Mahindra and location Mumbai. Pooja, and this is the project name is Tata, and process is again automation, and the client is Tata Auto, and location is Mumbai, Tata. Save it here. Now, can you see this right light here?
Yes, sir.
The cell has changed. The change has not been committed to the database. The original data is still null for all. Why? Understood what happened here?
Because we repeated one code.
No. If I can't make it reverse. Moment I gave this value here like 11111. Can you see? Sometimes it does not read 1111 or 12123. If I give, it is repeating somewhere. Fine,
So
it will go automatically. Don't worry about it.
Is it more like the database is suspecting that we may have had a error in terms of input?
Database at sometimes is very interactive because once you give the numbers, if it is existing somewhere on the same tabular form, it will create an alert that something is wrong. Please look into it. Okay.
So reasons could be varied.
Yeah. Now see. Cell is modified. Can you see in the bottom? When you remove, it is again hitting the same error. Now, once I go back here, this sheet and I refresh it, and try to pull up the select top 10,000. Can you find this? Are you able to see the difference? Here bottom.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it capturing the data?
Yes, sir.
So basically, as a BA, what happens when you work on this particular scenario, you will be given this syntax name on which project it is, whatever. You will go to this particular selection, click on the right side, select the top 1,000 rows given over there with the project name, and it will appear over here. That is the only work as a BA I have seen. You don't do much out of it if given permission.
And
Sir, can you repeat this?
I
Repeat what?
suppose, sir, this one will anyways be known to the guys who are doing the DB work. They can also assist BA as and when there is a requirement, because they'll be more hands-on with this kind of queries and everything, right?
Definitely. If you get a chance and you are near to the people, and if you can ask them, they will definitely help you, but only to the limit of view. They will not give you entire command. That is totally restricted. Even if they teach also, you cannot use it in the office premises at least, because it requires authentication.
That is.
Sir, can you repeat this view part which you told BA would use it?
This feature, if you remember, I have just given the input here, right? If you can see the screen where I have entered the input. But how to do that thing? If I have created a folder here with SQL demo name. In that, you click on tables and then come to database demo SQL. Click on right side. Go on to edit top 200 rows. Once you click, you will end up here. It will be blank sheet rather that time. And then you update that thing and save it. After saving, again you click on this same section, click right side, and then click on select top 1,000 rows. So whatever you have entered till date or whatever you have entered now will reflect in this aspect. It will give the command on top, how it is being functioning or it is commanded for, and how it will look in terms of structure. I can't maximize it, else you could have seen it. Is it clear, all of you guys?
Yeah, sir. Actually, I have one question, sir, regarding this. Sir, actually, as you said that the BA can only view the data. What kind of data we can use, sir? Whether it is a client related or a task related or any employee related, which kind of data we can view?
See, understand one thing. When a project is working, let's say for example of banking only. Banking, most of the things will be in a format, in a tabular format, or in a, let's say your example of your bank statement. Okay, it will be huge statement, right? Big statement.
Yes, sir.
The structure comes in a way like date, transaction, and where you have done what amount, withdrawal, deposit, blah, blah, all those things are there. So create that template itself, database team will take a lot of time because they have to understand how it should look like. So there'll be multiple back and forth meetings happening. In between that, duration of that, if the client want to understand where we have reached till now, how it is happening, can you give me an understanding and an idea on that one? Then you have to show that email to the related team and ask them that this is what is asked, please give me relevant access so that I can look into it. So what happens when you get the access of SQL in that company, you will be given that link. By clicking on that link and giving the password, you will come up to this area of image, screen, where you can run the same show here. Like click on that link, click on right side, click on select top 1,000 rows for that particular project name, and it will start looking into the format of this.
Yeah, okay. Sir, if client is given any query, that means we have to change anything. So that can also recorded by BA, sir. So that will also share to database team.
Sorry, I did not get that. Repeat again.
Sir, as you said that the data is given by the database team. So we will show the data to client. Okay. If client says any modification on the data, then again we have to share the data to database team to give any modification.
Yes. we will not have any leverage or access to do any modification, deletion, operation.
Okay.
Whatever comes, team will see. Client will have their own technical team. Your company will have own technical team. However, you are in the loop over here. Client will question you directly that I want to know what is the structure, how is it happening? Can you give me an idea on that one? So that is when you will kick into that one, this area of work, check back and report back that the structure looks good in this way. Now in this particular area, if you want, let me see if I can see. First one is employee ID, the second employee name, project, and then process and client and location. So I have the leverage here. Even client might ask you that I don't want project in the third place. I want in the last column.
Okay.
Here I can change it. Here, if you select this particular area and drop and bring it to last, you can see project will move. Or you can pull the location up and this is done. This is happening here. Okay, but you have to still let your database team know that client had requested that project should be moved to the last column. So they will make the corrections accordingly.
Okay.
So are you able to understand now how it is happening? I'll repeat again over here how to do so that
Sir,
you have
small
a
question,
clear
sir.
idea. Yeah.
Sir, like, for example, if the company has some thousands and lakhs of data, do we
Hmm.
need to import it from Excel and work on Sql, or like how it goes? We have to type it here.
Thousands of data. You will not work on data. You will just see the structure. Client will never ask you to see on data. They are as connected to us to give them a shape, so that whatever data they are having should be in this order, in an organized way or something like that. So that you do. All you will do is to see the format, if it is the right format or not, as per the client requirement. I have nothing to do, or IT company has nothing to do with their data, how they maintain. Once the structure is given to them, they will upload the data over there, or their DB team will upload the entire thing.
Okay.
Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Sir, after completion of this data from database team, then where they will transfer this data, sir? Whether to developer team or to tester team to develop a particular.
I didn't get
how
you.
Sir, after completion of this data, sir, this data by the database administration, if client said, yeah, okay, it is okay, it is fine, the data is fine, then after that, what is the process? What is the next process? Whether the database team will transfer this data to develop the application by the development team.
SQL itself is a development tool, right?
Okay, sir.
SQL, you whatever clients see, you have to understand one thing. Coding of your languages, let it be C, Java, R, Python, whatever is separate, and your DB is separate. Okay. Here, whatever structure you create is to store data. How many of you have seen the command screen? In your computer, do you have command screen? Command prompt screen?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
That is a DOS. That is a DOS screen, right?
Yes, sir.
It is the old DOS screen. But many companies give you the link also, or you should be trained on that, how to run the same thing in command screen. You can pull the same information in command screen. If I go into the command screen and let me see, if I don't know how to do, however, but I am checking. All of you know this screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is the command prompt screen, right?
Yeah.
Right? Most of the companies will connect this command prompt to your SQL database only. So whatever you work over in the command, in this particular SQL application, you can relook in the same here, giving some command, and it will reflect as it is. I have no idea, so I cannot give you that here, but yes, it does happen. And to answer to the second thing over here, once you create the structure over here, you will hand over this portion. Most of the time, database team will work on the client server only, so that there is less option of migrating. Do you understand what is client server? What is IP server? Guys?
No.
No.
No, sir. Can you once again?
No, sir.
Let's not
Sir.
go in that level. Understand one thing: when the database team is working for any query on or creating any format or something like that, most of the database team will work on the client server. Means they will access the client server remotely, and they will start commanding on that, so that the client can also check easily. And if there is any modification required, it will be done and it will be stored into the client server, so that your migration process is not happening. It is time taking and also delayed sometimes. To avoid this, database team mostly work on the client server.
Sir, can I give one example about that, sir?
Yeah.
So earlier you were discussing about that statement, bank statement, sir.
Yes.
So now the statement is prepared by database team and it is given to BA, and the BA is transferred to client, and the client said that okay, it is okay, the format is okay, what is the date, particulars, debit, credit, and balance, it is correct. Then
Okay.
after that, this data, what is the data is given by database team, and this will be uploaded in, there is one tool is there, sir, Finacle, there is a software is Finacle.
Yes.
In that Finacle, this database team will upload it. Then after I can, as a banker, I can get a printout and give it to customer. Is it the process, sir?
On an hovering idea, yes.
Okay,
but
sir. Thank you.
Depending on your card, wherever you are swiping, that interaction will happen between that POS to nearby server and to your bank.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now it is a Finacle is the client server, sir.
Yes, Finacle is the client server. Whatever you do, the system get captured into the client server and also your bank server.
And this database team have access to access the client server.
Client server and your company server, both of them they can access. That is when they can give you a proper format and connectivity.
Who will give the approval for this, sir? Is database administration, that means anyone higher authority is there in database team? That means okay, this one is finalized, and who will give the approval, sir?
Approval for what?
The final data. That means after accepting.
That is from CTO.
CPO.
CTO from your company and the client. These two will sit and figure out that it is right or not, and then it will be done.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Now I understand, sir.
All of you are able to understand how to work in SSMS application?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me how we will create the section to create? How will we create an area where we can give the commands?
Sir, will this recording be available?
Yes, this recording will be available into your library section. You can refer it anytime, any point of time which you want to go through, and you can practice on this. And you can download this application online also from Google itself. Okay, so SQL app, Microsoft SQL 2019 version, and you can use it. Okay. Any more question, guys?
So you had a question, sir. You were asking something.
I had a question.
Yeah, how to create the tables you asked.
Yeah, how will you create a table? I'm just trying to find out so that whether you are understanding or not.
So we are going to right click onto the database where we have created the new table.
New database.
New database now.
So I think you are not able to see the screen.
The pop-up screen is not coming.
Is it reflecting now?
Yeah. Over here we are going to give the database name. And we are going to say add.
Okay. You can either put add. Okay, let's go to that. You can see it now reflecting here, right? And click on OK.
Yes, sir. And then OK.
File name is empty. Provide a file name for a file. Click on OK. File name is database name. Click on OK.
Database 2022, anything you can write.
Okay. So I'll click on database, right click on new database. Dialog box will open, click on that, give it a name, database. I will not add, I will click on OK directly. It is executing, and once I'm done with that, I will come in the screen here. I will refresh. Okay. So I have given a name as database check. So where is it? Yeah. Are you able to see it is selected here now?
Yes.
Okay. Click on the plus mark. Click on the tables. Okay. Click on the select tables, or you can click on the table itself. Click on new. Click on the table again, and it will open up the table. This is the area where you will give the input, isn't it?
Yes.
So employee ID, employee, let the name happen, employee ID, employee project. Client name or location. I'm gonna place this to varchar 50. After doing this, save it. Give the same name as date. You can give the same name or different name. There's nothing different. I'm giving same name and click on OK. So once I save it, I'll again refresh here. And I can see it is reflecting here, database check. Can you see here? It has selected.
Yes.
Click on this. Click on select top 1000 rows. What will open? And you will have these names here. I mean the format. As of now, if you check, I have not given any input towards them. Correct? You can see the employee name, employee ID, employee project, client name, and location reflecting. Click on the same database check field and click on edit top 200 rows. This will give you option where you can give any input. Let's say I'll give name as Ganesha and employee ID like 11111 whatever. Project name, what? Client name is what? Location is 7. Come here. Select top 1000 rows. Can you find it happening here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand now how to create? It is initially it will be little tweaks over there. Yes, but if you are going through the recording on this one, you will get to know how to create role. Don't get into a developer mode that how to create or delete and all those things. It is not needed. Yes, if you have your own personal interest, maybe you can refer somewhere else and you can learn out of it. Clear? All of you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So one question here is our this session recording, like you said, is going to be available. But by when do you think we will be able to get access?
Today is Sunday, right?
Yes, sir.
Today is Sunday, so we are not functional from office end. So might be tomorrow by before evening, anytime. I mean 24 hours you can take, 24 business working out. So if not by Monday, then Tuesday it will be up. And also I believe this is be shared to respective participant to in that you have a group, right, from COPD. It will be also placed in that.
Yes, sir. That client group mail is came.
In that area somewhere you will be getting this recording link.
Okay, via email we will get the information.
Yes, not email, WhatsApp itself. Email also will get, but most of the time what happens, your email is getting moved to spam.
Yes, sir.
Right, you have to check in the spam inbox. If it is there, yes, you can look into it. Else it will be updated in the library portal in your COPD students box portal.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Ravi sir.
Yeah.
It is a general question, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, actually, after completion of exam, we have to ask. We have to ask about that send projects.
1 minute. Can we discuss this thing after this recording is? I'm going to close this recording now.
Okay.
Okay, so after that we will discuss. So all of you guys understanding how to update or create and view the tables?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Right. So fine. I'm winding up now this recording, and then we'll discuss on the remaining questions. Okay.